So let's talk about experiential learning and why do you think hands-on learning is so effective?
So when my go-to example to explain experiential learning is cycling. I learned how to cycle when I was really young. I was probably 2 years old when my parents bought me my first cycle, one of those tricycles with the 3 wheels. It took me a long time to get the hang of it and learn actually how to balance on it. But once I got the hang of it, I never could really forget how to cycle, even if I tried. I started cycling again a few years ago after a long gap, maybe 10, 11 years. But it came to me pretty much very instinctively, and I never really forgot how to do it, which was really amazing.
Exactly. Even years later, you can just hop on a bike and just ride.
I mean, that's the power of experiential learning, isn't it? And that's what we're trying to emphasize at Korelate learning. It's not just the knowledge, it's an experience that sticks with me forever. And I learn by doing. It sticks with me, it stays in my brain. And that's why I feel hands-on learning works, and that's why experiential learning works, because it's more than just theory. It's a skill, it's an experience, and it's a memory. And if it's done right, it's probably an unforgettable memory, so which means it's really truly going to be remarkable.
I love that idea. It makes so much sense to have an experience shape a person's growth and development. How does experiential education shape your life personally?
So I initially struggled a lot with learning in a classroom, with the classroom model of education. But the first time I learned about experiential education, the idea stood out to me immediately because I understood that there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just learned that my brain is wired a little differently, and I learn things in a different way by actually using my hands, by doing things, by experiencing something in a very involved way. And that just that model of education became much more personal for me. And now I want to share that with the world through our work at Korelate Learning.
That sounds amazing. So how does this fit into Korelate's programming in a tangible
So
way?
one model that we actually reference a lot in our work is an experiential learning cycle that has been proposed by this person named David Kolb. He was an American educator in the 1980s, I want to say. So the model has 4 major steps that we use as guidelines in designing all our activities. The first is a concrete experience, right, which is the hands-on participation like cycling. That could be connected to a learning outcome. So if we take this example, then cycling could be connected to a learning outcome of maybe balancing on a cycle. The second stage is that of maybe reflective observation, where the participant or I would review my experience of cycling. The third stage would be a conceptualization, I think. The third stage is a conceptualization, which involves connecting my experience of cycling to the learning objective of balancing. And also exploring how that learning of balance would have shaped my previous experiences, where if I had known how to balance, maybe I could swim better, maybe I could walk more straight, and basically different ways of applying that learning. And finally, the last stage is about how to apply these learnings in different settings. So again, coming back to that is basically figuring out how to apply that learning of balance into the real world. And that's kind of something that we are trying to do through our work at Korelate, and each of the activities that we design kind of focus on this model of experience to learning and real world application. And that's why experiential education means so much to us, and hopefully means a lot to the people who participate in our activities.
Thank you so much for your time, Kanishk. This was really exciting to learn about.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Thanks for having me.